Oh, were they waiting until we went off? Are we back on the air now? What's going on?
They're trying to get it back.
Wow.
All right, Mark Brown and Michelle Tuzzi, we left you for a moment, and it appears now the police have moved in. They've got these vehicles there that have now surrounded the vehicle in question. This is the Bentley four-door sedan that was being driven on a slow-speed pursuit for several hours and then stopped here on Lankerton Boulevard. They have moved up on it now. It is now immobilized. There's no way it can go anywhere. I presume these vehicles are armored because you've got a person with a gun inside this vehicle. So now the question is, it appears they've moved in on them, and they're going to try to change the situation up.
Wow. So what do you suppose is happening with that vehicle that's parked right in front of his window there? You can see they're illuminating the car. Looks like they're shining a light in there, right?
Yeah, they're shining a light in it. I can guarantee you, based on what we know of the police and what tactics they would have to employ, there are several guns from within these vehicles being trained on that suspect to make sure that he doesn't hurt anybody. They are also hoping that he doesn't hurt himself. That is where we are right now, and this just happened within about the last minute.
Wow. 3 armored vehicles that have surrounded a pursuit suspect like this. You know, it's very possible it's happened before, but we've seen so many police pursuits over the years, and I've not seen this.
Not seen this many. I know they've used the armored vehicle on occasion to block other people in. I've never seen this, as you put it, this many of them deployed at one time, but it's effective, certainly. He's not going to be able to move even if the car was movable before this. And what this does really is give police a very up-close look at this guy.
An up-close look and a little bit of a barrier from the public if shots were to be fired, though there is that one open side, you know, if he had pointed a gun toward that car lot. But at least the other angles are covered. It's a little bit of a buffer.
And as far as we know, no shots have been fired at any point during this entire process, which is all good news. No accidents that we know of during the pursuit. No shots have been fired since this became essentially a barricade situation.
Wow, and now you can see the officers behind and moving in behind that armored vehicle, moving right up really close to the trunk. They're looking in the trunk, it looks like. And wow, now they're approaching the passenger side of the car.
And
Wow.
we're keeping the shot wide, I think, just in case something happens or has happened.
We presume they are ordering him to get out of the car right now.
Guns are drawn, pointed in the direction of the suspect. JT Alpa, you are with us?
JT, are you there?
Well, while we wait for JT, let's watch this unfold here. We're keeping the shot fairly wide in case shots are fired. We don't want to show something that would be too traumatic for everyone to be watching at home. But we are. It looks like there's movement going on inside that Bentley, doesn't it, Michelle?
It's unusual to see officers approach a car like this with their guns drawn and get so close, but I guess they feel safe because they're covered. They've got these 3 armored vehicles with the officers in those units with guns on the suspect. So I guess the feeling is if he were to turn and point the gun, you know, toward those officers, he wouldn't have time to get the shot off.
Yeah, this is really extremely touchy. This is an extremely touchy situation here. And, you know, these officers train for this day in, day out, month in, month out. Their commanders are involved in terms of figuring out what sort of tactics. And we're looking at this unfolding on the right side. That's how it looked.
Wow, they pulled up fast.
Just a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, they just moved really rapidly and moved in. You know, I guess it's the element of surprise. They want to employ whatever they can. If the suspect doesn't know what's happening, he can't react, and they moved in. Now the question is, what happens now? I mean, they're still on foot next to the car, and we don't know whether what's going on here. their posture.
Right. What's the
can
next move?
Yeah,
Are
what's
they
the next?
going to try
What
to
can we glean
break a
from their
window and
posture?
open the
It
door?
seems as though.
Whoa, they're going right up to that passenger. They are getting so close.
Hey, Mark and Michelle.
Yeah, JT, you're watching this.
Yeah, he's breaking the window out.
Yeah, he
Not
is breaking the
watching it,
window.
Waiting for my video to come up.
Okay.
They're making. They're obviously. SWAT has made the decision to deploy on the vehicle.
Yeah, it seems like they're having a hard time breaking that window in. Well, if it's an armored vehicle, it would be very difficult if it had that special glass, right?
Well,
to break through it, if it were like a bulletproof
You
window?
can get, I don't know if you can get Bentleys made bulletproof. I guess you can get pretty much anything you want made in a bulletproof fashion. So if that's the case, it's entirely possible that these windows could be bulletproof. They've got the door open. Lights shining on the inside of the car.
If the officer, again, my video is not up, guys, but if the officers are standing next to the passenger and opening the door, it would possibly be an unfortunate end.
Yeah.
If they don't look like they're in a tactical type stance.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to tell very shortly from their body language, bluntly, whether this person is dead or alive inside this vehicle. If it appears they get to be more relaxed, then that would indicate something, that this thing has come to an unfortunate and tragic ending. And we are purposely keeping our shot wide, so it's hard for us here watching it to make that determination about what sort of result has occurred here. But they've got the door open. They broke the window out.
And one of their primary concerns at this point, Mark and Michelle, is to clear the car. If in an unfortunate circumstance happened in the car where the suspect is dead, their next focus turns to clearing the car, clearing the back seat, making sure there are no other victims or hostages within the car, and it's just what's called clearing the car, making sure everything is over before they proceed.
Doesn't look good, I'll tell you. Because if the guy was,
they would have pulled him out
they
by
would
now.
have pulled
I
him
think.
out, and you've got people walking around, and
Well, and perhaps that's why the officers had confidence in approaching that passenger door. Maybe they knew, and
In situations like that, if the tactical team in position and standing by were to hear a shot, or shots were being fired, and they figured that it was a situation that they needed to deploy on immediately, that could have been what happened. Again, just speculation. But that would they would go in and get closer to the car in a safe manner and to determine what the circumstances are.
well, they haven't pulled him out, and the officers that are now standing next to the vehicle are not in what you would call a tactical stance, at least from what I can tell. Looks like they're standing straight up. I don't even know if they've got their weapons still pointing in the direction of the suspect at this point. So this would indicate to me that something terrible has happened here. We will await confirmation, but it doesn't look good.
No, Mark, I would agree with you. I do now have video up, and the way the SWAT vehicles are deployed on the car and the way that the officers are standing around would indicate that at least the tactical end of the situation is over, that there is no longer a threat present within the car, and now it's gone from a tactical situation to an investigative situation. They may make a determination at this point whether they need to call in paramedics, LA City Fire Rescue Ambulance into the situation, and treat the suspect if there's possibly a gunshot wound. So these are all the things that are happening right now around this scene, making the determination, obviously, that the tactical situation is no longer.
All right, JT, thank you very much. That's going to conclude our coverage. We are out of time, but we will have the very latest on this situation coming up on Eyewitness News at 4:30 a.m. on ABC 7.